I feel like there's all this extra buildup, especially with flying and just like all the time and like energy and everything put into it. So, all right, this is the moment. Sometimes, people do extraordinary things for their passions. For birders, it can mean traveling across the world to see new species, braving mosquito-infested coastlines and forests, or taking a flight with the sole purpose of seeing one bird. I'd heard stories about these epic chases, and now a scenario presented itself which would lead me to spend a ridiculous amount of time and money to see one bird. The story begins with a bird called a gray gull. These gulls are native to the Pacific coast of South America, but had never been seen in the United States until the later half of 2023, when one was spotted in western Florida. A few weeks later, I found myself in Louisiana and planned to drive to Florida to see the gray gull. However, it didn't seem to be around while I was there, but popped up again as soon as I left Florida and was headed back to Wisconsin. I told myself that if the bird stuck around, I would fly down with the sole purpose of seeing it. My girlfriend Claire lives in Louisiana, so if I saw the bird right away in Florida, the plan would be to drive there to stay with her family and spend some time with them before flying back to Wisconsin. If I didn't see the bird right away, I would stay longer in Florida until I had to leave. The plan would be to fly down just to see this bird, so I'd be flying to the Fort Walton Destin Beach Airport. Fly there to see it, and then if I see it the first day, drive to Louisiana. If I don't see it, I'm going to stay longer in Florida, but I only have until Thursday. I've never done this before where I've taken a flight just to try to see one bird. And it's a little terrifying because I have no idea if this thing is going to be here. This could be a colossal flop. It could be a colossal waste of money, but I'm going to calculate how much it actually is going to cost to do this trip and see or not see this bird. So we're going to book the flights. So these are the flight options to fly down to Florida. And I was looking at the $300, it's expensive, the $300 ones. And this is when I want to go on Monday, and it's up to $383 now. But with points, it is 27,702, which is a lot of points. I have 88,761 points. So I guess we'll have to do this. I did end up booking my flights with points I had saved up. However, I'm including their equivalent monetary value in the total trip cost. Using the points made it feel less painful to spend that much money. So let's look at the flight time. So I'm going to do the one that gets me there the earliest. It's going to be one stop. I believe that's Nashville, BNA. Oh, so this is 380. I'll do that flight, and then either way, I'm going to leave from New Orleans. So I'm going to have to get a rental car. Man, I hope this thing is still there. Let's do it. Alrighty. Let's book the return flight. Okay, looks like Thursday. Because I can't stay till Friday, unfortunately. All right. It's booked. Either way, it looks like I'm going. Let's get a rental car. So I'll probably just do like an economy. All right, we did it. So that's where we're at on our gull journey so far. This is crazy. Can't even really believe that I'm going to do this. I fly out to see if I can find the gray gull in about 3 hours. So it's a very early morning flight. It leaves at 5:20. And then I should be there by about 10-ish. And then supposed to pick the rental car up at 10:30, but I'm hoping that we will be able to find it right away, and then I can head to Louisiana instead of having to get a hotel in Florida and spend more time there and money, on hotel rooms and stuff. My parents are nice enough to take me to the airport, so really appreciate them doing that, especially super early. So shout out to them. But it's definitely more nerve-wracking when you know you're going to be flying to see a bird. It's just so much more investment, time, money. It just feels like the stakes are higher. I headed to the airport and got through security, ready for my first flight. Alright, we are just about to board here. So So this flight is going to Nashville, and then from Nashville to the little Destin airport. Landed here in Nashville, now just one more flight to Destin, rental car, then looking for the Gull. Pretty anxious. It's always tough when you don't know how stuff's gonna go, and travel, like, especially flights in general, it's like a lot of being uncomfortable. Like, you're hot, then you're cold, then you're like crammed in tiny seats next to people, then you're thirsty. Like, you're just kind of taking care of the next basic thing. So it's always exciting when you're like at your destination and you could just go off and do your thing, and then it's like, all right, now we're ready to go. But until then, it's kind of just like a lot of following directions. Okay, we are ready to go. So I grabbed my bag, talked to the rental people. We got in a little bit early, so they let me get my reservation early. It's a Chevy Malibu. I think it costs like an extra $10 or something, but that's fine. So that'll add a little bit to our total, but we're about an hour away from Dune Island Beach. My friend actually texted me, well, I got the text right when the plane landed and I turned Wi-Fi on, that the Gull was seen this morning. So we're gonna go over there as quick as we can, and hopefully it's still hanging around. We're finally here at Dune Island Beach. I did have to pay $4 for a toll to get here. I took the faster route. I feel like I've been doing everything as quickly as possible, like anything that could cut time, even if it costs a little extra. We're doing it, except for taking the time to do these updates, but it's important for the video. I met one of the locals who was like, yeah, it's been out there all morning. So I'm hoping that as soon as we look over here, we're gonna see the Gray Gull. Yeah, I feel like there's all this extra buildup, especially with flying and just like all the time and like energy and everything put into it. So, all right, this is the moment. We got the Gray Gull. It is the chillest rare bird I may have ever seen in my life. It is hanging out by people. It looks like a beach bum itself. It's literally just chilling there. It doesn't even care about anyone around it. It is a gorgeous bird, and this is a gorgeous beach. It's white sand, and he sticks out very much in the sand. It was vocalizing a little bit. It actually sounded very similar to the Laughing Gull vocalization, which I thought was interesting, but I am definitely gonna soak in this moment and just enjoy my time hanging out with this once-in-a-lifetime species in the United States. I'm so glad it's still here. Wow, it's a big relief as well as just like huge excitement. It's hard to believe it's real. I've been waiting for this since last time I was in Florida, and seemingly it wasn't here at the time, so just big payoff. It's incredible. The Gray Gull is a sleek-looking bird found on the Pacific coast of South America. Adults have a light-colored head, gray body and black wings with white wingtips on the inner primaries and secondaries, a dark tail, bill, and legs. Immature birds are more brown in color. Gray gulls are normally loud and obvious if they are around, and can be found on rocky shores, beaches, and at river mouths during the non-breeding season, and then move inland to breed in more arid, desert habitats, which have few predators. They feed on invertebrates and fish, as well as food provided by humans, and are currently considered a species of least concern. So I was able to appreciate the Gray Gull for a bit, and it tried to go eat a fish, and it kind of picked at it a little bit, and then it started walking further down the beach. So it's kind of making its way down the shoreline. There's also some sanderlings and some laughing gulls around too. But hopefully we'll get some more looks. Even if it doesn't come back, I got incredible views of it. It was so cool to see, but I'm hoping I get to spend even more time with it here. So I found our friend a little further down the beach. He is just preening, and I don't know if he just wanted to kind of get away from the people eventually. It seemed like he didn't really care, but this is like a little more open of a spot. He's hanging out with 3 laughing gulls, and then 3 sanderlings, kind of in the immediate area. During my time at the beach, I made sure to try and document all the activities of this rare bird. Gray Gull is really making me work now. It was looking sleepy, and then someone started passing out bread or some kind of food, and then all the gulls gathered around, and then some kid was running through the gulls, and it flew back over this way, so I feel like I'm just like its like personal videographer for the day. Like I just follow it around and document what it does. I'm like, it was sleeping, it was eating, it was doing this. So we're gonna go back down this way. I've also been enjoying the sanderlings, really close-up views of those, and of course the abundant laughing gulls. After soaking up the sunshine and the great views of the Gray Gull, I headed back to the car, feeling relieved and excited. Wow, that was incredible. Spent about 3 hours here hanging out with the Gray Gull. Got to see it feed, rest, fly around, vocalize, kind of bully other gulls in the area. He's got a lot of personality, I feel like. And a bunch of people were like, okay, what's the story with the birds? I got to tell them, and it was, you know, some cool science communication stuff going on, people getting excited about birds as well. So it seems kind of goofy, like when you think about it, for how tame it was, for like being so worried about it not being here. But I do know a bunch of people who have come and it's just not there, and they look the whole beach and it is somewhere else for the day. So you really never know what it's going to be like, but I'm very thankful that it was hanging out today and I got to spend so much time with such a cool bird. With my target species checked off, I made a quick stop before starting the over 5-hour drive to Louisiana. Made a quick stop for coffee at a place called Kith and Kin. It's a cute little place with a lot of natural area around, and there was actually some Carolina chickadees and brown-headed nuthatches up here. So brown-headed nuthatches and Carolina chickadees actually are both species I appreciate because we don't have those up in the north. It was nice to see those kind of foraging around in these pines. So since I was able to get the gull today, that's gonna definitely help cut some costs because I don't have to get a hotel here in Florida. So I'm gonna make my way to Louisiana. Made a stop at Buc-ee's. You can see the logo there. To get some food, and I just got some gas. I definitely spent more on food than I did on gas though. Their food's really good here if you've never been there before. It's like huge inside, and they have really good jerky. So I got some jerky, brisket sandwich, and a water. So that's going on to our total, and then after I eat, we'll get back on the road. All right, finally made it to Louisiana. So that is the end of the trek for today. That was like an over 5-hour drive, so a little bit grueling, but totally worth it to see the gull, and excited to get some sleep now. The following day, after getting some food, Claire and I drove for over 2 hours to look for a rare sage thrasher, unfortunately encountering lots of traffic, flooding, and fading light along the way. So the road was like completely flooded. Anytime we go to this area, apparently there's just flooding. But we got through the first couple stretches and we met another birder who's on the way there. So we picked her up for a little bit, but this stretch is significantly deeper, so we're gonna walk from here. Yeah, this is pretty deep. I thought this would be easy. Thankfully, after putting in the work walking through the flooded roads, we were rewarded with some phenomenal views of the sage thrasher, which was hopping around pieces of concrete, presumably looking for food. Sage thrashers are native to western North America, and it was really interesting to see one out of its range in Louisiana. After appreciating the sage thrasher, we walked back through the water to the car, getting some nice views of Virginia rails on the way out. Got the sage thrasher, and then there was actually a couple rails that came out, which is neat because they're pretty secretive, and they were foraging on the weed line over there. So we just got through our part of the water, so we're gonna drive back through the other part of the water. Hopefully it didn't get any deeper. Well, that was wild, and definitely more than I bargained for with the traffic and then the water and everything. And there's a guy that came and talked to us about alligators. We ran the whole spectrum of interesting things happening today. And then it was very nerve-wracking driving through the water on the way out, but it was really cool to see the sage thrasher. It was definitely something we had to work for. So I think that makes it, you know, a little more special. But we're gonna head back to Thibodaux and call it a day on this one, but it was definitely a memorable one. A few days later, and after spending a little more money on food and gas, I was back at the airport, feeling like the trip was a huge success. After a couple flights, I was ready to conclude my quest to see the Gray Gull. Overall, it was a unique and expensive experience flying to see a single bird. The stakes felt so much greater, and the highs and lows were elevated. I'm thankful that it worked out this time, and would recommend having multiple reasons for traveling to a location, or backup plans if you're going to see just one bird. Have you ever taken a flight just to see a particular species? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.